he for the Knicks?
That's an interesting question. I think you can look at it two ways, and I think there's something to that. For one, the Knicks are the only three seeds since the playoffs have expanded to 16 teams. That was in 1984, since we go into 4 rounds. They're the only three seeds to get to the finals that did not have to beat a 1 or 2 seed to get there. Not their fault. It's just the way it laid out. And we all saw how the Cleveland Cavaliers absolutely quit after game 1. That was a despicable showing from that entire team. I think their coach, Kenny Atkinson, he might think it's a game 5 tonight because of the analytics. He might be surprised when there's nobody showing up at Rocket Arena tonight, but we'll just let him figure that out on the back end. But I do think with the way that the Knicks have destroyed the Philadelphia 76ers and the Cleveland Cavaliers, yes, it speaks to their excellence, but it also begs the question, when you get to the finals, will you have a sticker shock of the altitude of, man, we haven't played a team this good at this level while these Western Conference teams are beating up on each other? They're used to the competition. I wonder if that's going to have some type of effect, at least early on, while the Knicks will be rested. But yeah, the Eastern Conference as a whole was pretty underwhelming this playoff.
Chris went on to say that he does not believe that Jalen Brunson is one of the greatest all-time Knicks. He is obviously a heavy Willis Reed guy. Where do you see Jalen fitting in? And then I'll ask you a follow-up.
I mean, Susie, are the Knicks like this hallowed franchise that I've been watching for 50 years? I mean, I'm not 50, but like it seems like the Knicks have had splotches of great teams. Like they had a Patrick Ewing era. They had an era in the 70s.
They had Frazier era. They had
Yeah, the
Willis Reed
Frazier era,
era.
Willis Reed and all of those guys. And they've won two
DeBusschere,
championships.
yeah.
And I think Walt Frazier and Willis Reed are up there. Certainly Patrick Ewing is probably the greatest Knick of all time, even though he has no championships. But I don't see there being this Mount Rushmore of great Knicks. They're not the Celtics. They're not the Lakers. They're not numbers, so many numbers in the rafters that you got to invent new numbers. It's like 5 or 6 up there. So if Jalen Brunson leads this team to a title, Mike Greenberg said it this morning. He's Joe Namath. He's the guy who will never have to pay for a meal in New York City ever again. You can put him in that top 4. You can banter with Carmelo Anthony or whomever else you want to knock off of that number 4 spot. But I think he's up there and he's earned that to get in that conversation with where the Knicks were when he signed in 2022. This was not a banner franchise, and he's been the headliner in this team, becoming a consistent contender in a NBA that does not allow for consistent contention.
I think he's going to get a lot of free drinks as it is right now. I have a feeling that he'd be just fine on 7th Avenue, walking in wherever he wants and grabbing anything he wants from the top shelf. That said, who is this guy? You know, he's kind of a fascinating person to break down. Obviously took a pay cut to have a stronger team around him, grew up around basketball. Leon Rose is his godfather. So break it down for me. Like, how do you explain who Jalen Brunson is and what makes him tick?
That's amazing because to some degree, Jalen is very polished in a lot of ways. Like he will say the right thing, and sometimes he'll say nothing. He'll give you not necessarily a word salad, but he won't let you in. But the guys around him, that's how you wind up figuring out who Jalen Brunson is. You watch his interactions with Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges and those players and OG Anunoby, the guys who have to protect him. It's almost like a quarterback with his offensive line. You can tell how much a team likes the quarterback by how well the offensive line protects him, because Jalen Brunson's not a perfect superstar. He's a guy that has to have his other players around him protect him on defense and not allow him to get hunted, and to allow him to take the shots and take command of the offense while not taking it personal. If you're his teammates and you're only getting scraps every now and again, you have to really love your leader. Guys have to really play for you. And playing in New York City, it's not for everybody. Leon Rose can be your godfather. Rick Brunson can be your dad. But when you're out there, it's just you. And I think there's a calmness to him. There's a fire to him. There's this underdog mentality or 2nd-round pick. The Dallas Mavericks didn't want to re-up him at the money that they re-upped him at, so he wound up going to New York. Like, there's a lot of things that make him him, but I think he's built for the pressure of New York. He's built for the Knicks franchise. And like you said, he took the pay cut, $100 million pay cut that he could have signed for more. I want to know, what did his financial advisor say to him when he came to him and said, "Hey, brother, say we going to take a haircut here." But I just think it speaks to the competitive character and the fact that he's a winner. Is he a champion? We're going to find out.
Yeah, that's not a haircut. That is like a Rapunzel like chop, right? That is like some serious locks falling from a castle. I am surprised, or I'm not surprised. I'm enjoying watching the chemistry of some of these young guys. The Villanova three, watching the personality of these players from the Knicks, and they are, everyone loves to talk about, are they loose? They're very loose. And you're right, they're sitting back and watching. I'm enjoying watching Josh Hart. I covered him when he was a baby, when he was with the Lakers for 15 minutes, and just watching him grow into who he is. You start to, like, if you've been covering the NBA long enough, you look for the tea leaves, right? You look for signs that a team has, it's together. And there is that feeling that the Knicks have it. There's that playing in the Garden. There's that us against the world mentality. This is not about history. This is just about feelings. My feeling watching this, especially, and I do think that, look, OKC's OKC for a reason. Shea's the MVP for a reason. But you start to smell something in the wind, and there's something about that I'm getting from the Knicks. I'm curious about what you're getting as we look at the finals, knowing that the West is still at play.
When I'm walking through Manhattan and I'm smelling something, I don't think it's roses and NBA finals. It feels like the incinerator.
Or if you're on Central Park South, you know what that is. It's got to be the carriages.
Yeah, it ain't nothing great, right? But I tend to agree with you that, like, you look at them and you say they're playing over their heads right now, and the competition isn't great. But you're playing over your head for a reason, because you're taking this with the appropriate approach. And they look like a team that's playing better than anybody. It's not about what you do throughout the 82-game season, although that's very important. It's who's playing the best at the right time and who's healthier. And that's what the Knicks are. And if nothing else, this run of winning games by 18 points a night, it breeds more confidence. And it breeds that, hey, if we continue to do the right things, defense, rebounding, share the ball, all the basic tenets that your fifth grade coach tells you about, they're doing it at such a high level. You don't want to be the guy that breaks the chain. You don't want to be the guy that takes the bad shot. You don't want to be the guy that lets his man go by him on defense and all of a sudden someone else has to take the hit for that. So there's an accountability that even goes beyond the coaching staff. There's an accountability, I feel like, that goes from the locker room to the players. It extends. And those are the things that create a championship thread. I would not be surprised. I think if you take me back to the start of the playoffs, I would have been surprised if I said, hey, the Knicks are going to win a championship. But with the way that they've played, their expectation internally should be to win the championship no matter.
Victory in the 3 closeout games, 39.3 points. So what has been the key to the Knicks going for the jugular and not taking their foot off the gas?
One thing I would cite, Eamon, is Miles McBride saying after their last loss, Game 3 in Atlanta, he said there was a mentality shift where before, he said the Knicks, we know we're a good team. We're kind of waiting for the other team to give us the game. The shift was, we know we're a good team. We have to go out and get the game. And so I think it's partially that. It's partially the attention to detail that these guys have right now on both ends of the floor. And they're totally locked in. I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns last night was saying that in the locker room, players were talking about, hey, let's get back to work. Let's get back on the practice floor. Let's figure out how we can deal with this long rest in a way that we didn't deal with it as well last time. So, yeah, these guys are totally locked in on a level that I haven't seen in a long time.
Now, to put this return to the NBA Finals in perspective, you have a column up on SNY.TV about all the moves Leon Rose made to build this team. As you did your research, what stood out to you as the biggest domino that Rose pulled off to construct this current roster?
Yeah, so the one I didn't mention, because it's the obvious one, is trading Alec Burks, trading Nerlens Noel to clear up the cap space to sign Jalen Brunson. But you look under the hood there, Donovan Mitchell was right there for the Knicks a few months after they signed Brunson. The idea of pairing those two guys together was something that was heavily debated internally. They made offers to Utah. Ultimately, Leon Rose decided to pause, decided to be patient, didn't want to pay the price that Danny Ainge was asking for. A lot of people questioned it. I questioned it myself back then, but it turned out to be a very pivotal move for Rose as he moved forward here, trading for OG Anunoby, trading for Mikal Bridges, trading for Karl Anthony Towns, all those players playing huge roles in this postseason run.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I like the way you put together signing this guy, held on to draft capital so they could make the trade for Towns. It was really a fascinating look at what Rose has done. And of course, though, the most controversial move was firing Tom Thibodeau, hiring Mike Brown. Ian, does a return to the NBA Finals for the first time since '99 vindicate the decision to let Tibbs go and hire Mike Brown?
Yeah, it's hard to see how it doesn't vindicate it, Eamon. I mean, the idea was Tom Thibodeau brought us to the conference finals for the first time in 25 years. We feel like we can go further. We feel like we left meat on the bone, and so we feel like we can take that next step with a new head coach. That was the bet. And the bet has cashed in now that the Knicks are heading to the finals. Like, obviously, if you get your doors blown off in the finals, there's going to be, questions about Brown. I don't think about his job security, but just second guessing. But I don't think anybody at the moment could second guess that Thibodeau decision just based on the results. And so I always thought Tom Thibodeau deserved a shot to coach this team this year to see how it worked. But Mike Brown has done a heck of a job getting them to this place.
No doubt about that. This playoff run has been historic. So, Ian, game one of the NBA Finals, not till June 3rd. We hitting the links or the beach. What's going on, Mr. Free Time?
As much as I want to build some sandcastles with you, big guy, I think I'm going to hang out with my kids. They're young enough to still want to hang out with me and to spend time with my wife, who's the real MVP during this playoff run, holding the fort down while I'm away. So a little family time, and then we'll get back to
the idea. I don't love the money, but if you look around the NBA, Michelle, everybody's spending like drunken sailors. That's just the cost of doing business. Inflation, NBA salary caps, you name it. The Knicks now have a starting point guard. They have not had a legitimate starting point guard in a long time. Now, Jalen Brunson cannot be the only move that is made for the New York Knicks if they want to be a bona fide, legitimate contender. Like, are they a top 5, top 6 team in the Eastern Conference with the way it stands right now? No, but they're getting a guy who is a dog. He's going to make his teammates better. And are the Knicks a better team than they were 24 hours ago? The answer is yes, but that can't be the end game.
That was JJ and me the day the news broke that Jalen Brunson was coming to New York. JJ is back. Somehow, you, by the way, didn't age. And I
find that hard to believe. You look wonderful as well. By the way, I actually thought Jalen Brunson might have been overpaid with that contract. 4 years, $104 million. Talk about one of the all-time great fleecings, Michelle. That's what that was. And at least I had nice things to say about Jalen Brunson. It could have been the alternative.
That's true. By the way, Ty Butler now joins us. Fast forward nearly 4 years, and Brunson has led the Knicks to their first finals appearance in 27 years. So, JJ, how would you describe what Brunson has done in his 4 years with the Knicks?
He has turned himself into a franchise icon. Just think about that for a minute. When Jalen Brunson came over from the Dallas Mavericks, this was a young, emerging player. He had a very nice college career. He had a great final season in Dallas, filling in for Luka Doncic. Nobody in their wildest dreams could have imagined he would turn into, number one, the best player on the franchise, and a guy who I was dead wrong about because I looked at him as a part of the equation. Ty, I never could have possibly dreamed that he would be the engine, the leader, the number one player on a team that's going to the NBA Finals, that's 4 wins away from their first championship in 50 years. And that's because Jalen Brunson continues to get better and better. He works his tail off. He gets it. In between the years, he gets it. He's one of those special New York athletes, one of those special NBA players, period.
Not just that, but there's a conversation being had right now. Is he the greatest Knick of all time? And why I think that is legitimate is because there's a generation of Knick fans who all they knew was losing before Jalen Brunson got here. That's all they knew. It was losing, lottery, into the draft, into free agency, rinse and repeat. And we can show you the numbers since the turn of the century, how the Knicks have fared during the Jalen Brunson era prior to him getting here. 10-25, all losing. They've got 25 more wins in the 4 years since he's been here, 7 times as many series wins, 2 times as many Eastern Conference Finals appearances. So they've gone from the laughingstock to a legitimate contender, and he's a pivotal piece of that because, as you mentioned, he is one of the best players in the league. He's an MVP, and boy, if he wins this championship for the New York Knicks, and it's, Maxey, y'all thought that he was better than me, swept him out of the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell, y'all thought he was better than me, swept him out of the playoffs, and possibly SGA, a back-to-back league MVP, and then Brunson joins an exclusive list in NBA history. Small guys to win championships, Isaiah Thomas, Steph Curry, that's the list. If he joins that list, man, there are going to be a lot of conversations, not just about him being the greatest Knick of all time, but that Mount Rushmore of New York athletes because of what.
This is y'all. You know we're going to win the Super Bowl next year, right? You know we're going to win the Super Bowl. See, you don't live in reality when you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. But when you are a New York Knicks fan, you suffer because you're a realist and you're not under any delusions. You really, really, really suffer. And because you suffer to that palpable degree, okay, that means you're suffering because you're not delusional and you're aware of the circumstances that are surrounding you. You don't understand what Spike Lee has been through. You don't understand what Chris Rock has been through. You don't understand what Ben Stiller has been through. You don't understand what unless Tracy Morgan has been through. You don't get it. You don't understand what suffering is. The years of ineptitude. The times that you sat back and you watched one mistake after another. And you watched people use Madison Square Garden as their own playground instead of getting abused like they were supposed to when they arrived at Madison Square Garden. Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Steph, Iverson, the list goes on and on. Everybody just sitting there coming to a garden, abusing folks. Abusing the New York Knicks and their fan base. Kevin Durant didn't come to New York. And when he didn't come to New York, do you know what he said? Knicks were corny because of Dolan. And he was right at the time. He was right. Kyrie wanted to take KD and their talents to Brooklyn because start our own thing. Why should we go to the New York Knicks? What are they going to do for us? What are they? Dolan was running this product into the East River or the Hudson. It was bad. We have suffered. We have been in pain and agony. You understand what we've been going through? And to go through all of that and to be here today. Let me get some tissue. I'm getting emotional right now. Y'all don't understand what we have been through, the suffering that we have had to endure. When people laugh, when people laugh at you and you know you deserve the laughter? You know how hard that is? When you are the brunt of jokes and ridicule and mocking and humiliation and you know good and damn well you deserve it. That has been New York Knicks fans. And this is New York, baby. This ain't Carolina or someplace else or Utah or something. This is New York City. So you got the 5 boroughs. Manhattan, Queens, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Staten Island. Then you got Long Island. They think the LIE coming into the city, people. And then you got cats that leave the state. They go through the Lincoln. Or they go through the Holland Tunnel and they live in New Jersey, but they're coming to New York. You got people coming from Westchester and Connecticut, Greenwich, and Western New York, and they descend upon the Garden year after year after year and get nothing but garbage in return. And the stench is so bad that even when you travel back to those hours upon which you came from, the stench doesn't leave you. You take showers and baths. You exfoliate and scrub. You go on vacations. You go everywhere, and the stench won't leave. It just stays stuck to your nostrils. It's like somebody passing gas right in your face, and the smell just won't leave. It stays in the food you eat, the stuff you drink, the deodorant you wear, the clothes you put on your back, the people that's in your face. It doesn't escape. You know why? Because it stinks for all of us. And this is the way it has been for the better part of 27 years. That is what has happened. Until last night. Until last night when the New York Knicks closed the deal and they said to you what you saw in Atlanta wasn't a fluke. What you saw in Philly wasn't a fluke. What you gonna see in Cleveland tonight ain't no fluke. 13 fast quarter points in the first quarter. 26 fast break points in the first half. Hustling and beating the Cleveland Cavaliers up and down the court. Dunking on them, pulling up for threes on them, getting into the lanes on them. Outrunning them, out hustling them, out muscling them. Everything about. Because it's over now. We back in the finals. And we're looking good. Now, damn it, job ain't finished. We got 4 to go. Job ain't finished. And damn it, it ain't going to be easy because I got news for you. Knicks ain't going to be the favorites. Whether it's OKC, assuming they get healthy, or whether it's San Antonio, they're going to be the favorites. But the reality is that this is a series that's coming up in these NBA finals. It is not a foregone conclusion that either one of those teams are going to smoke the Knicks and get them up out of here. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a battle. It's probably going to be like it was in 1994 when Olajuwon and Otis Thorpe and Kenny Smith, Craig Elo, no, not Craig Elo, not him. I'm just saying to you, if Pat Riley had remembered to use Rolando Blackman, John Starks, we could get on him about Game 7, but damn it, he was great in Game 6. And they had a chance. And Pat Riley stuck with him and wouldn't go with Rolando Blackman in Game 7. And that was a mistake that the New York Knicks never recovered from. And you know what made it worse? Know what made it worse? Pat Riley went on to lead Miami to a championship years later when he had that brother D. Wade and he fired Stan Van Gundy and took over the helm and coached him and Shaq and Alonzo and the crew to a championship. And then he got LeBron to come to Miami instead of New York. And they won back-to-back titles and went to 4 straight NBA finals. And then even getting Jimmy Butler, even though they didn't win it, they went to 2 NBA finals, one in the bubble, one against Denver. Meanwhile, the Knicks, as Doggy would say, couldn't figure out their ass from their elbows. That is what has happened to us. People have used the garden as their playground. But no more! No more! It's our time now. Job ain't finished. As the late, great Kobe Bryant would say, job ain't finished, job finished, job ain't finished. But now the stench in our nostrils, the smell, we don't want to let that go. We smelling it. We smelling what emanates from orange and blue skies. We're smelling what emanates from getting back-to-back sweeps. We're smelling for what emanates from stomping teams out over the last 11 straight games, outscoring them by over 200 points, averaging over 23.8 point victories. I'm talking about that kind of smell, baby. That's what we smelling now. That's what we smelling now. been a long time. It's been a long time. Been a long time. This is what it's all about, baby. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number. Call us 888-623-3646. Go and get back to the phones. Who do I have on here interrupting my flow? Let's go to Hiel in Chicago. You're live with Stephen A. What's up?
How's it going, Stephen A? I know you're in a really good mood right now. In Chicago, great. You know, I just want to talk about the coaching change. That was the real thing that really – it's hail, by the way, but, hey, it's all right. I'm gonna let that slide. I've been here for a minute. I want to talk about the coaching change from Thibodeau to Mike Brown. I'm a Bulls fan. Lifelong Bulls fan. Lifelong Bulls fan. I already knew. I said it from the beginning. I said, hey, they are not winning. They're not winning. They're not going to the finals with Tom Thibodeau. Like, it's not going to happen. I know he outplays. What is it? He burns out his players at the end of the day. He burns out his players. And the second they did that, in 2 seasons, they're back to NBA Finals.
Okay. You've heard that before. You've heard that from me before. I think that Tom Thibodeau is a damn good coach, but he does wear out his welcome. He's so fixated and dedicated on the sport of basketball, doesn't trust his assistant coaches enough, didn't know how to relax with players. Mike Brown is considered somebody that doesn't have that problem, and it turned out to be the right decision for the New York Knicks because Mike Brown has proven he can coach. We can't question that anymore.